On our third wedding anniversary, my wife didn't raise a glass. She raised a toast. I remember the exact moment. The restaurant lights were warm, soft music was playing, and people around us were laughing quietly. It was supposed to be a special night. 10 years of marriage, 10 years of building a life together. I thought we were celebrating love, loyalty, and everything we survived together. She was smiling at her phone more than she was smiling at me. I thought maybe her friends were sending anniversary wishes, maybe family messages. I didn't think much of it. I just sat there looking at her, remembering the day we got married, the promises we made, and the life we built piece by piece. And then my phone started vibrating on the table, one message, then another. I picked it up and saw my friend's name. He sent me a screenshot, no text, just the screenshot. Okay. It was my wife's post, a photo of us sitting at the table, the same moment. She had posted it just seconds ago. The caption said, putting up with this useless guy for 30 years. I read it once, then again, like maybe the words would change if I looked long enough. But they didn't change. And in that moment, sitting right across from her while she smiled at her phone, I felt something very quiet break inside me. I read it twice, not because I didn't understand it, because I did completely. There was no confusion, no misunderstanding. No, maybe she meant something else. The words were simple, clear, public. She didn't whisper it in anger. She didn't say it during a fight. She wrote it, posted it, and left it there, for everyone to see. Friends, family, coworkers, old classmates, strangers, useless guy. I looked up at her across the table. She was still smiling at her phone, replying to comments, thanking people who were laughing at the post, laughing at me. And the strange thing was, I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel like shouting. I didn't feel like throwing the glass or demanding an explanation. I just felt very calm. I finished my drink slowly, stood up, walked to the counter, and paid the bill. When I came back to the table, she looked surprised, like she didn't expect me to move at all. Okay, I simply said happy anniversary, then I left. No argument, no scene, no drama. I just walked out, got into my car, closed the door, and sat there in silence. I sat in my car for almost an hour, staring at nothing, replaying years of quiet compromises. Every joke I ignored, every time she corrected me in front of people, every decision where I said, whatever you want, every moment I chose peace instead of respect. I realized something that night sitting alone in that car. If someone can publicly call you useless and feel comfortable doing it, it didn't start today. It started years ago, slowly, quietly, piece by piece. The next morning, I filed for divorce by 11:20 a.m. She called. By noon, she was crying. By 0:00 p.m., she said she didn't mean it. By 0:00 p.m., she said it was just a joke. It happened exactly like that. Almost like a script she didn't know she was following. At CERS, my phone rang for the first time. I let it ring, then again, then again. When I finally answered, her voice was sharp, confused. Are you serious right now? She said. You actually filed for divorce? I didn't raise my voice. Yes, I said. There was a pause. Then she laughed, but it didn't sound real. It was just a post, she said. Why are you acting like this? By noon, the tone changed. Her voice got softer, slower. I could hear it breaking. Come on. You know I love you, she said. It didn't mean anything. People post stuff like that all the time. I listened quietly. By Ling PM, the words shifted again. Yeah, I didn't mean it like that, she said quickly. You're taking it the wrong way. And that's when I understood the pattern clearly. First shock, then minimizing, then emotion, then changing the meaning. And by R Ling P.M, she tried one last angle. It was just a joke, she said. Some people just don't understand humor. That's when I finally asked her something simple. Explain the joke. Yes, there was silence on the other end, not for a second, not for 2 seconds, long enough to feel heavy. Because jokes are easy to explain when they're harmless. Uh, you can break them down, laugh again, make sense of them. But this wasn't that. Okay, I just meant she started, then stopped. I didn't interrupt. I just waited, but she couldn't explain it. And that silence told me more than anything she said all day. You didn't exaggerate, I said calmly. You revealed. Okay, another silence. This one felt final. My name is Ryan Cole. I'm Sanshi Wu, and for most of my marriage, I played a role I never agreed to, the quiet one. I wasn't always quiet. I just became quiet over time. Not because I had nothing to say, but because it was easier. Easier than arguing, easier than correcting things, easier than turning every small comment into a big conversation. I had a steady job. I liked structure. I liked simple routines. I didn't need attention from strangers or approval from people online. I was the kind of person who fixed things when they broke, paid bills on time, showed up when I said I would, and believed that was enough. Jessica was different. She could walk into a room and everyone would notice. She was funny, loud, confident, and people liked being around her. She knew how to turn normal moments into stories and stories into performances. She measured moments by how people reacted to them, how many laughs, how many likes, how many comments. Neither of us was wrong. We were just very different. The problem didn't start with one big fight or one bad moment. It came in pieces. Small comments here and there, relax, it's just a joke. You take things too seriously. I'm just teasing. That's just your role. Each one was small enough to ignore, not big enough to start a fight over. But together, over years, they slowly changed how people saw me, and maybe slowly how she saw me too. Her friends thought I was the quiet, boring husband. Her followers online thought I was the guy who was always the punchline. They all knew a version of me that I never agreed to be. And the truth is, I never stood up and corrected the story. So the story kept getting rewritten without me. I was embarrassed of how different we are. That's what she said when we finally sat down and talked a week later. Not on the phone, not through messages. Across the table, no audience, no phones, no performance. She didn't start by defending herself this time. She didn't say it was a joke. She didn't say I misunderstood. Just she just looked tired, like she had been thinking for days and didn't like the answers she found. Yeah, I was embarrassed, she repeated, not of you, but of how different we are. You're quiet. You don't care what people think. You don't try to impress anyone. And I always cared what people think. I didn't interrupt her. I just listened. I built this image online, she said. Funny life, perfect stories, everything entertaining. And sometimes you didn't fit into that image. So I made jokes. I made you the serious one, the boring one, the quiet husband. People liked it. They laughed. And after a while, I guess I started seeing you that way too. She looked down at the table when she said that. And in that moment, I understood something very clearly. Mistakes happen fast, I told her. But beliefs take time. And beliefs don't disappear just because they get exposed. They just become quieter unless you confront them. She didn't argue. She didn't cry. She didn't try to convince me of anything over the next few weeks. Something about her changed, not in a dramatic way, in a quiet way. No more long emotional messages, no posts about relationships, no indirect quotes online, no trying to make me look like the bad guy. For the first time in years, she wasn't trying to control how things looked. Count. She was just sitting with how things felt, and I watched, I listened, but I didn't rush to fix anything. Because change is not what people say once, it's what they do consistently after the truth comes out.
A week passed, no pressure, no post, no indirect message, just quiet consistency. That was new. In the past, silence usually means tragedy. It means a long message was coming, or a post that looked innocent but was actually about me, or a conversation designed to make her feel guilty enough to come back first. But this time, none of that happened. She did not try to rush me. She did not try to explain things again and again. She did not try to make herself look like the victim. She did not try to make me look like a villain. She just lived her days, went to work, came home, and gave me space. If I text, she replied. If I did not, she did not care. There were no performance anymore, no audience, just quiet, consistent behavior. And consistency is hard to fake. You can fake emotion for a day, maybe for a week, but consistency shows who someone really is. On the ninth day, I went back. Same house, same driveway, same front door, nothing outside had changed. But this time I was not walking back into the same marriage. This illusion was gone. The story we used to pretend was gone too. She opened the door and just stood there for a second. No speech ready, no dramatic moment. We sat down in the living room, and I said the only thing that really mattered. You did not just joke about me. I said, you believe it. She nodded slowly. I did. She said, no defense, no excuse, just truth. And strongly, that's what the moment everything became honest for the first time in years. Change does not start with regret, it starts with recognition. A lot of people say sorry when they get caught. A lot of people feel bad when something goes wrong, but feeling bad does not change anything by itself. Regret is easy, it comes quickly, it's not right. Recognition is different. Recognition means you see what you actually believe, not what you wish you believe, not what sounds good to others. The truth, even when it's uncomfortable, that's what changed everything. Not the apology, not the silence, not even the time apart. It was the moment she stopped explaining and started recognizing. For the first time in years, she saw me clearly, not as a background, not as a quiet one who would always adjust, not as the easy punchline, but as a person, someone who had been there the whole time, just not fully seen. And I saw something too. Religion does not try to impress. It does not rush to fix everything in one moment. It moves slowly. It shows up in small, consistent ways. It does not need an audience. We did not make a big promise after that. We did not print it. Everything was suddenly perfect. We just understood something we did not understand before. And this is time, if anything continue, it would be built on that, not illusion.